Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining Valiantys as part of our asynchronous tasting with Bijou chocolates. Today, we are going to be exploring a new tool in the Atlassian family, and this tool is called Loom. If you've never used Loom before, it's an easy way to enhance team communication by enabling quick, clear video messaging, reducing the need for lengthy emails or meetings. It's perfect for training, feedback, and process explanations. And as you'll see in a moment, chocolate tastings. So, before we get started, my name is Steve Terelmes. I am the VP of North America Operations at Valiantys. We are an Atlassian Platinum Solutions Partner. And on behalf of both Atlassian and Valiantys, I want to welcome Maggie Mobley, owner and chocolatier at Bijou. Maggie, thank you for joining us today.
Always a pleasure.
Before we get started, I have to tell you, Maggie's shop is less than a mile from my house. So it is always a problem for me to not drive down there every day and buy chocolates. But a quick anecdote, because I can't help myself. My birthday was recently, and my wife asked me what I wanted for my birthday. And I said, if you're ever looking for something to get me for my birthday, you need to get me Bijou chocolates. So the next day, it showed up in a box of every single chocolate that they sold individually, all laid out. Anyway, you'll see when you get into your chocolates. These are some of the most amazing chocolates I've ever had.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so let's get back to what we want to talk about today, besides chocolate, although it's going to be hard to stay away from the chocolate. So before we get to our first chocolate tasting, I'd like to highlight a few of the features of Loom, especially if this is the first time you've ever experienced it. So when you're using Loom, you can do a lot of the same things that you can do with other video recording features, but there are enhanced features in Loom that are really good. First of all, notice that just below this video is a summary followed by chapters. While it may not be obvious to you, I have not created this summary or these chapters. Loom actually built this out through AI technology and created the entire summary, created the summary title, and chaptered out the video so that you can jump to any particular part in the video. Additionally, with Loom's help, our content is now more accessible. On the right side of your screen are two buttons, Activity and Transcript. The Transcript button, if you click on it, will show you the transcript of the entire Loom video. Loom automatically generates this for you, helping those who prefer to read the message consume the content better. You can also copy and snip it out of the transcript and move it to other things if you need it. And then finally, a quick note about activity. Unlike social media where you can leave a comment or reaction without context, Loom details at what point in the video the comment or the reaction was made. This provides immediate feedback. So you can see what time it was, and then you can go to that part of the video, that time in the video, to see what the comment is related to. So that said, if you have any questions throughout this event, do leave your questions in the activity section and we'll get them answered for you in short order. And with that, let's move on to our first tasting. By the way, you'll notice there's also a thumbs up here. So if you like the Loom video or the tasting, give us a thumbs up. Okay, so what do we have as a first tasting here, Maggie?
Okay, so first tasting for you guys is going to be probably the most popular one that we sell. It's going to be our salted caramel. It's kind of like the main staple that everybody loves. You got kind of the salty sweet combination. So it's going to be a vanilla bean caramel and then a little bit of a large granular sea salt in the top. Just kind of doesn't dissolve in, so you get a little bit more salt on the tongue up front as opposed to just a well-seasoned salted caramel. It's got that extra sort of bite to it.
Yeah. So, by the way, this one is my favorite, my wife's favorite chocolate. So she's a huge fan of salted caramel. Yeah. Oh, that's strong. Okay. So while I'm enjoying this, I have a question for you that I've always wondered. What is the deal of adding salt to sweets? Why do people do that?
I think it helps just sort of balance it in general, because otherwise you have something overly sweet. And I do think it's definitely a preference, because I've definitely had people who tell me they don't like salted caramels. I don't actually have that big of a sweet tooth, so I prefer my sweets to have that sort of salty. I feel like it just hits your tongue in different places, kind of hits different taste buds and sort of satisfies your palate, in my opinion, better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really good. It's got more of that kind of not just sweet, but it's got complex flavors to it as well.
Kind of brings out all the different notes of the caramel and the.
That's really good. So what is it that led you to the chocolate business? How did you get started with this amazing business?
Yeah, I went to pastry school in Chicago, and they did a very comprehensive overview of everything. And while I was there, I ended up working at a chocolate shop, and it was kind of my first experience seeing chocolates like this. And I was drawn to the artistry of it, and I was drawn to the science of it. And so by the time my schooling came to a close, and I had done, candies and ice cream and breakfast pastries and breads and sort of the whole gambit of the culinary, specifically pastry sort of field, this was what sort of drew me the most. So I moved back to St. Louis and discovered there really wasn't any here. So I just started doing it myself.
Oh, we're so glad you did. So for guests that are not in St. Louis and are now trying their chocolates and getting addicted to it, can they buy Bijou chocolates outside of St. Louis?
We have an online store and we ship all year round.
Cool. Thank you. And so, you can check out their online store. What's the website?
It's bijouchocolates.com.
Excellent. All right. Okay. As much as I don't want to leave the chocolates, we need to continue on in our journey through Loom. So thank you, Maggie. That was delicious. So let's go on to the next step. Before we get to our second tasting, I want to show off how Valiantys gets work done. From creating standard operating procedures to collaborating on bigger projects, we are making looms. A recent example. So we've changed our expense reporting software and therefore related procedures. When making a loom, you can easily share your screen, your camera, or a combination and walk through your new system. When you're finished recording, you have the option for Loom to create a document for you to contextualize your content. For example, you could do a step-by-step instructions, you could do an outline. There's also even several document types for development teams. So they can have docs to help with pull requests or bug production steps, and also explaining code and things like that. For example, our expense report, we actually, after the Loom video, we can pick an SOP and bam, Loom has generated for us an SOP around the steps that are necessary for completing an expense report. There's a bonus to this too. If you copy the text with the button on the bottom right, you can paste SOP text right into your Confluence page, like I've done here. So once you build this, you can actually copy this right into Confluence. So Confluence Smart Linking takes over and embeds not only the links mentioned in the video, but also a smart link for the Loom video. So you can, as with all other Atlassian products, you can move back and forth between the products with the links within the product. So if you're familiar with Atlassian products, you've been doing this for years with Jira and Confluence, and now you can do the same thing with Confluence and Loom. Okay, so let's get to our next chocolate tasting. So Maggie, what do we have next?
So next you have a 68% dark chocolate.
Okay.
With the Loom logo.
Yes, and that little logo on there is the actual Loom logo. It's so cute. Ta-da! Yes, so 68, so dark chocolate is my favorite chocolate for sure. So 68%, why 68%? It says 60 or 70.
So the percentage is the percentage of cocoa product that's in it. So anytime you look at a dark chocolate that has a percentage, the rest of the percentage to get you to 100 would be sugar. Where this one specifically, this 68% comes from Ghana. It's what is called a single origin dark chocolate, which means all of the cacao was harvested specifically from one country, which means it all comes from some sort of similar climate, similar soil type. And so much like a coffee bean or a wine, there are certain notes with certain climates and soil types that will sort of change very subtly the flavor of the chocolate. So we have a bunch of different single origins that all kind of bring out different notes, which I think for me is the most interesting part of dark chocolate, to have something that you can kind of side by side taste and tell that there's these subtle differences in each of them. So with the 68% from Ghana, it has this kind of warm spice to it. It's almost like cinnamony.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of a vanilla flavor to it. I mean, obviously all chocolate tastes like chocolate, but
Yeah.
there are some that have more of like an orange note or like a floral note or something that's really nutty. And so I always think exploring that is really interesting. And so for this one, at least you have a single origin from Ghana, which is that kind of cinnamony.
That's really nice. Yeah, I can kind of taste a little bit of the cinnamon tones, but it's not too hot.
No,
It's
exactly.
very warm.
It's like very, very back of your throat,
Yeah.
sort of aftertaste.
Yep, for sure. Very good. So when you have chocolate, when you taste chocolate, do you enjoy wine with it as well? And so, like, is there a type of wine you like with certain types of chocolates?
I do. I'm generally more of a fruit and chocolate or fruit and wine person. So I prefer like California Cab Savs that have that kind of like deep cherry,
Strong, yeah.
sort of blackberry sort of notes. And so for those, we have a couple. Actually, we have a Madagascar chocolate that by itself tastes like it has cherries in it. It's the craziest chocolate I've ever tried, where it tastes like you're eating a chocolate covered cherry.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that's a pretty interesting note, because as I was enjoying my birthday chocolates, I was actually enjoying some California wine with it as
There
well.
you go.
So perfect. So one more question. So the name Bijou, where did that come from? How did you come up with that?
Sure. Yeah. So I went to a French pastry school. So I am a classically trained French pastry chef. And so on the one hand, with Missouri's sort of rich French background, I was kind of looking in that direction. However, there are a million words that have already been used when it comes to finding a business about chocolate. So where I had worked in Chicago, one of the biggest comments we received were like, wow, these look like jewels, or they look like gems, or this looks like, they don't look real. And so bijou actually means jewels or jewelry in French. And that is where that comes from.
Cool. Very nice. Okay, let's get back to our Loom discussion. Okay, adding on to our previous discussion of using Loom to get work done, I'd like to underscore the inherent integration Loom has with Atlassian tools. We've already seen that with Confluence in the previous example. If you just add a Loom link into your Confluence page, the Smart Links feature picks it up, and it will automatically be created as an embedded link for with the video player for people to view. So let's talk a little bit about Jira. Let's say I'm on a development team rolling out a complex new feature, which requires coordination across multiple teams. I can record a Loom video to quickly walk through business requirements, acceptance criteria, and whatever else I need to share. Then after I record the Loom video, I can actually create a Jira issue ticket directly from Loom, embedding the video in the description. This way, my team and the teams we depend on to deliver the feature can access the explanation, the comment links, the related issues, and ultimately the Loom video itself. So this is the screenshot of Loom creating the ticket, and you can see the different fields that are in Jira. You can identify the space and the project that you want it to go to. And then when you were over in Jira, you can see it actually in Jira, and you'll have this as the description, and then people can click right on the Loom video itself to actually do that. This video serves as a clear reference, minimizing the back and forth that you might need to do and ensuring that everybody stays aligned. By using Loom and Jira together, we have streamlined communications. And with that, we are going to go back to Bijou and Maggie. And Maggie, what should we taste next?
Well, I've got two different options. Let's go the cherry almond.
We'll do the cherry almond next.
All right,
okay,
sounds
so
good.
this is one of my favorites. So I love the whole cherry cordial scene and all that stuff. So this, I assume, is like a take on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it is. It's an excellent example of that. By the way, now is the time I'm going to, if you have been too busy enjoying the taste of chocolate and your eyes haven't like caught the look of it as it's going into your mouth, now's the time that you should take a really good look at the artistry around these different chocolates. Every single one is individually crafted with beautiful designs. How do you come up with these designs?
So some of them are going to be sort of a take on what they look like. So our raspberry is red, the cherry almond has red tones in it, like our lemon is yellow, and then some things that don't have quite a clear color coordination. So if you walk into the store, we have 24 different flavors at any time. and I like to put them in rainbow order. And so there is definitely a part of me that was very particular about making sure that the whole rainbow was represented at all times. So sometimes if we're really short on like a green,
Mm-hmm.
even if it doesn't totally make sense for the flavor, I'll make it green. So if you look at the ones that we have all year round, there is kind of the whole gambit of the rainbow within that. And then the seasonal flavors we have, we just kind of fill in where we think there might be a little extra space. So during certain times of year, like Valentine's Day or Christmas, there's going to obviously be more like reds, maybe some greens in Christmas. But the rest of the year, it's kind of a free-for-all based on whatever we want to do. And then it also sort of depends on how many designs are out there and if we want to replicate too many, so you don't have too many of the exact same repeating design. So we kind of make sure it all gets spread out.
Yeah. One of my most favorite things to do is to get a big box of these chocolates and then try to guess based on the color which one I'm about to eat, because I know about half of them at this point, but the other half I have no idea what I'm getting into. So that's a lot of fun. Okay. So are all of these varieties available at your shop year round, or do they change over
It
time?
depends. So we have 24 total flavors, 16 of which are year round, 8 of which are seasonal. We try and keep seasonal chocolates about 8 to 12 weeks and then rotate them out in sort of a staggered fashion. So that way that we're not fully rolling over everything. There's a little bit of a leeway between new flavors coming and going. We're rolling into all of our fall flavors full front right now. So you've got the real cinnamon heavy hard hitters, and they'll probably be staying for a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
But each box comes with a card, and the card has the year-round.
Like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what people should do then, of course, is go back to your website frequently and often to see what new flavors you have out there. Of course. All right. Before we enjoy our last chocolate from Bijou, I do want to take this time to thank everyone for watching. A huge thanks to Maggie for joining me in the Valiantys studio. It was such a pleasure to have you here.
Oh, of course, anytime.
And of course, a pleasure to eat your chocolates. If you're watching this and you'd like more information on Loom, or you would like to help build a business case for Loom within your company, please reach out to us. Our contact information is at the bottom of this video. And this is a picture of our teams when we were at Atlassian teams. And so we are here to help you as an Atlassian partner. Our contact information is linked to this Loom, so don't hesitate to reach out. If you enjoyed this video and this event and are interested to know what else we're working on, please do visit our events and training page that's also linked below. So with that, let's get to our last tasting. Maggie, what do you have for us for our last tasting?
This is a seasonal, so this one is brand new to the shop this year. This will be staying probably through winter. This is our dark chocolate chai infused bonbon. So I'm a really big fan of spiced chai teas. It's probably one of my favorite drinks. So every year we kind of grab that. We pair this one with a 66% dark chocolate that is from Ecuador. So the chocolate itself has sort of a tea note to it and a little bit of a floral aftertaste, which pairs really nicely when infused with an Earl Grey tea and all of the spices that accompany. So you've got the cardamom, the cinnamon, you've got clove, you've got ginger.
There's a lot going on in there.
It's a lot. There's a lot packed into that little guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It tricks you too, because when you first take the bite, you don't catch it for a second.
Then it all kind of hits.
Then it just hits you.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's very chocolate on the front tongue, and then as you're eating it, you kind of get those spices on the back end.
And I've never had this one. This is new. I've never had this one before, so this is fantastic.
Thank you.
You guys need to get you more of these. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay, so which one's did you say the cherry one's your favorite?
It's hard. I feel like it depends. I really enjoy experimenting. So anytime we can do something kind of weird, those tend to be my favorite, but it's very fleeting. It's a in the moment kind of favorite. I am kind of a sucker for, like I had said earlier, just fruit and chocolate in general. Mm-hmm. I think the passion fruit is probably one of my more favorite sort of staples. I really enjoy the like very citrus, sort of tropical notes of that one. So I think that's probably my favorite. So
what's the craziest thing you ever tried? Did you like at home sometime in the lab in the basement come up with something really crazy?
I guess it depends on your level of crazy. I like to take pre-existing desserts and see if I can translate them into chocolate. We've made a baklava bonbon before, which I really liked, which had multiple layers to it, and it had this crunch that really, really resembled fouilletine. Or it's called fouilletine, but it resembled the like phyllo. And then you've got the honey sort of syrup in it. So anything where I can kind of take something that isn't traditionally chocolate and mold it into a way that you get all of the notes of eating that actual dessert, but
Yeah.
you're eating a chocolate bonbon is, to me, the most fun and interesting.
That's really cool. I know I recently had the chocolate peanut butter one. I don't know if that's newer, but I don't think I'd had that before. And I found that in the box of chocolates my wife gave me. It was unbelievable.
Thank you.
Because you guys, it had like, I don't know, you had some crunchy stuff in
Yeah,
there
it was
too.
peanut butter pretzel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
Peanut butter, yeah, it was
I'm a big
so
fan
good.
of that one.
So good. All right. Well, that was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much,
Sure.
Maggie. And thank you all for joining us. And so until next time, take care and have a wonderful rest of your day out there in the Atlassian ecosystem. Thanks.